Hello, my name is Sun Young Yoon. I'm leading Southeast Asia and Korea commercial business in HP for Indigo and PWI business. Nice to meet you. Let me share a few stories about new opportunities together with digital adoption for publishing industry. Let me start with product life cycle. Now, product life cycles shortening everywhere. So time to market is more critical now than ever. So this is also quite same to book life cycle, but let me take another time and chance to talk about book life cycle changes over time. Then when we look at the millennials, last two generations, which are millennials and Gen Z, we say typical three trends, which are YOLO, you only live once, and FOMO, fear of missing out, and the other one is actually counter term of FOMO is JOMO, joy of missing out. During the COVID-19 pandemic, actually YOLO and FOMO has different trend now. So these are quite widely enjoyed by a young generation. But this also affects to consumer trend in 2020. So let me talk about a little bit about pension economy, also made for me, also act fast. JOMO, just I mentioned about joy of missing out. People wanted to reduce more and more time on smartphones and other social networks, and they have their own controlling time for themselves. And sustainability is one part of consumers' behavior now, like environment and also governance of the businesses, and also express yourself. I want to say how this kind of customer trend are also affecting our industry as well. Let me take a video about the power of personalization. This is our customer video in Brazil to showcase the power of personalization for families and schools with HP Indigo.
De 0 a 8 anos, são mais de 25 milhões de crianças no Brasil. Há 2 anos atrás, a gente queria criar uma coisa para educação e tecnologia para crianças. Então, livros personalizados já acontece no mundo, mas a gente criou a criança dentro dessa história. Então, é isso que a gente faz dentro da história. E pesquisas lá de fora, uma pesquisa londrina recente da Universidade de Londres, coloca que um livro personalizado na mão de uma criança, ela pode gerar até 3 vezes mais aprendizado e retenção de palavras, de novas palavras, numa fase de alfabetização. O que torna dentro da história único é os livros criados pelas próprias crianças. É a família entra no site com a própria criança, coloca o nome da criança e cria o avatar da criança, escolhendo peças de tipo de tom de pele, tipo de cabelo, tipo de roupa, e vai montando um personagem como se alguém estivesse desenhando o teu filho. O desafio da dentro da história de traduzir um produto digital para um produto físico, na nossa busca, enfim, de entender que a melhor tecnologia que tinha no mercado era da HP Índio, pela velocidade, pela qualidade das cores, impressionante. Então passava de ter um parceiro que tivesse a máquina HP Índio, que tivesse uma estrutura que nos atendesse com qualidade e agilidade. Um parceiro que nos atende muito bem, foi uma forma certa que consegue viabilizar essa experiência para as famílias.
Nós tivemos contato com o Dentro da História, na verdade, quando a minha esposa chegou em casa e me apresentou um livro para meus 2 filhos. Quando eu vi aquele produto, eu falei, não me interessa onde que é feito, como que é feito, mas a gente quer trazer para que ele possa produzir aqui conosco. E a Forma Certa tem tecnologia para poder atendê-los e fazer essa parceria com eles. O desafio desse tipo de produto dentro da história, para a Forma Certa, foi apenas não a questão da velocidade e de automação e controle do processo, como também ter uma impressão de extrema qualidade e robustez para esse tipo de coisa. E as soluções encontradas na HP Indigo foram fundamentais para que a gente conseguisse trazer um produto extremamente escalável e extremamente personalizados. Dentro da história, trouxe um desafio para a Forma Certa de montar uma gráfica ao vivo na maior feira literária do Brasil. Com o apoio da tecnologia de impressão digital HP Indigo, a Forma Certa conseguiu, junto com Dentro da História, fazer essa mágica acontecer por detrás dos palcos. Hoje, com esse case que a gente tem trabalhado em conjunto, seja a forma certa com o Dentro da História, já são mais de 250 mil famílias atendidas com um livro totalmente diferente um do outro, totalmente personalizados, um a um, né? Então, a criança muitas vezes não imagina o quanto que esse mundo da impressão é lúdico, né? E a gente também muitas vezes acaba esquecendo. Então, cada sorriso, cada sensação era a parte mais gostosa, que eu acho que fica pra gente, para que a gente possa entender o quanto que esse produto é importante e o quanto que ele é relevante para tantas crianças e famílias que recebem ele em suas casas.
I wonder you enjoyed the video we took in Brazil together with a customer for how books can be personalized and how people can benefit from the power of personalization. Let me share a few more applications in the world, including a few personalization and versioning with digital adoption. This is the Lego CD Search and Find books published in UK. People can create their own personalized search and find with their figurine hidden in the image. So people can be hero with their names and their images for Lego, quite famous books. And another application with personalization is Soccer Star. This is also a UK publisher to create comic books that personalize for you with your names and favorite teams and images. You can be the hero and the star of the team. So this is one example how publishers utilize personalization for their new business opportunities. Another application I like to introduce is Lovebook. You can build for your own also the recipe you like, and you can add here why you love them, the reasons, and you can create your own version. So this is quite lovely books for the reasons why you love. And Petlandia, this is another book you can customize with your pets, whether it's cats or rabbits or dogs. Also, one good thing about this Petlandia is if you put your images of your pet, then all the product, not only books, also wrapping papers and markups, all the products. Also, they have already the images of your pet there, so you cannot refuse to buy. So this is one good marketing with personalization together with the books. Another creative books with personalization with digital. This is also another UK publisher create the book of everyone. People can create on your own story with different images and templates, but quite unique personalized book. This is quite growing a lot, more than triple year, and also quite combined with social media campaigns. And let me take opportunity to introduce Wonderly. This is world leading personalized children book publisher now in the world, based in London. But also they start with one specific title, which is Lost My Name. But they create a lot of new titles which can personalize and individualize with children's name and images, and very simple clicks, and also now combined with quite traditional children books like Willy Wonka story in Charlie's Chocolate Factory. You can create your own adventure and experience from personalized books for your own. And also now Wonderly offers the third party to create their own personalized books as well. This is one project, the first book created by the investment between Google and Ravensburger in Germany, and personalized Harry Potter fan book, which we call Keys and Curious. There were 4 different versions, different names and different stories for their own. So this is quite successful opportunities with digital to create their own world. And another example about the customization, personalization of contents. Actually, this book was not from publisher, by online media outlet in New York based. And Tasty Cookbook is recipe book. You can create your own to a bestseller. They planned 5,000 in the first place, and it became more than 100,000 books. Now still they are printing, also came into Asia for different opportunities. So books are quite wide culture we can enjoy in different areas in different countries. So I think Indonesian publishers and contents providers also think about new opportunities for your own. Another example, based on successful launch of Tasty Cookbook. Also, this media create Tasty Junior Cookbook, second edition for teenagers and children. They can create their own recipe book based on digital technology. And not only books, also they are now expanding to other products like personalized coffee cans and other products. So all the publishers and contents providers can think about how you can utilize your contents for both first front end and backlist for your new business opportunities on digital press. And basically, I'm not going to tell every details about our product and technology today. There will be another opportunity to share later. But this is our portfolio of HP Indigo press, digital presses for commercial field and ship-fed and web-fed machines. And basically, all our presses are offering liquid electro ink technology for true offset quality. So I think publishers are quite sensitive about print quality, but we have 2 different technologies for publishing industry, HP Indigo and also inkjet, which is going to my colleague will introduce a little more. This is the end of my slide deck, but let me end with this saying: if you change nothing, nothing will change. But let me introduce a video from our Singapore customer as well before we share more stories on inkjet.
Singapore Press Holdings is a main board listed company. We are actually a multimedia company. We publish all of Singapore's newspapers. We are the region's leading magazines publisher. We have radio stations, and we also have a book publishing business. A lot of our advertisers, a lot of our partners wanted to customize the newspaper copy and the advertisements they put in it. So the ability to then find a solution that could customize in a volume business was one of the challenges that we faced. I think it was probably mid to or late 2017 where we were invited to HP's facility in Singapore. All of us were really interested in what this page-wide inkjet machine could do for us. The ability for it to print many identical copies without having to warm up at a certain minimum level was something that we never had in our arsenal. And it allowed us to have a new dimension.
The flexibility of this press enabled to operate using a different type of paper substrates allows us to branch into different kind of products such as books, brochures, leaflets, and even posters.
So if an advertiser had a launch, now we could customize some of these wraps for a trade event, 1,000 people, 2,000, maybe even 200 people. Advertiser was advertising with us in the mass market, but also allowed us to go into a niche market. Whenever we go out and look for solutions that complement our core business, what we look for is the ability to do something slightly different, a bit out of the box.
Ever since we acquired the HP digital press, we are able to produce products in a more efficient way. We need lesser manpower for the jobs, lesser ink usage, and lesser time to produce a certain amount of products within a certain period. We have a good relationship with the HP guys in any kind of issues, and they are able to respond to us promptly within a 24 hours period.
The relationship with HP has been excellent. I think HP is deeply embedded in the Singapore economy. That partnership of being able to provide us the technical expertise, which allowed us to get the machines operating efficiently. I think in this world where the speed of change and the competitive nature of industries like ours, partnerships would be the key. We will continue to work with HP, look at solutioning and find a fit between their product and our needs, and continually evolving the relationship, I think, over time.
Thank you, Sun Young, and thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. My name is Rick Bravo, and I'm with HP's PWI division based out of San Diego, California, and I'm really happy to share a few minutes with you about what we are doing in publishing. So thank you for inviting me to the happy hour today. As I said, one of my roles is that I have the responsibility for doing business development as part of our global strategies team, specifically focused on Asia Pacific as well as Latin America. And one of the things that we see as a strategic market for HP is publishing. We've been in this market now for about 10 years, and my role allows me to travel around the world and have conversations with publishers, with printers, to really understand what is going on across the supply chain. So I've been in this role now for 2 to 3 years, and I'd just like to share a few minutes about what we are doing inside of publishing. Let me start by asking you, did you know? And there's a number of things that we've seen about the printed book that really make us interested in being in this industry. And the first thing is, did you know that 68% believe books are more likely to encourage learning? And I think this is incredibly important as we think about COVID right now. A lot of parents, a lot of teachers, a lot of students are asking, what's the best way to learn? And especially as we're in shutdown. We know that books are incredibly important to learning. Studies have also shown that 81% of those surveyed find print media relaxes them. So when people actually get their hands on something tangible and they open up content and they interact with the physical, they find that to be a way that they can relax, perhaps instead of even staring at a screen like we're doing right now. And did you know that 88% understand information better when it's read than with printed paper? Then they're able to comprehend it, perhaps because it draws their attention, because there's less distractions. But in terms of outcomes, what's clear is that 88% of people understand information better when it's read with printed paper. And so it's no surprise that when you look at these different trends, that 81% of people prefer printed media when given the choice. If you're going to consume something, paper is a great alternative. And so we are in the paper business. We're in the printing business. And so we believe there's a big opportunity in this market. In fact, it's not just us that believes this, but when the data from Smithers Pirate shows that if we look at the next 5 years, there's a big opportunity in book production. And we expect there to be about a 2.5 time increase in the number of printed pages through digital print. And this is either through inkjet printing or through toner-based printing like with the HP Indigo presses. And that's because of a number of factors, but if we can boil them down to 4, the first is that the number of titles just continues to rise, and this pushes things more towards being able to print shorter quantities. Book orders are continue to grow, and so there needs to be additional capacity in the market to be able to meet all these different types of print runs. We know that even in COVID, ebook sales have ticked up, but just the initial data we are getting back from Mexico that as lockdowns relaxed and life somewhat became more normalized, they didn't see continued increasing of sales in ebooks. So we see that ebooks really aren't going to challenge print in the long run. Print is definitely here to stay. And the last is that there's increasing demand for print to order books, especially when retail outlets were closing and publishers and printers are trying to figure out how to fulfill books. We know that digital print production is going to enable that short SLA, book of one type of production. And so this is why HP is in this market. And we're not just in this market, we're the leader in this market. And we've been in this market for over 12 years now. So we really started in 2008. And since then, we've printed over 250 billion A4 book pages. We are the #1 printer in terms of inkjet publishing. We do this through our 50 different service providers. So we have 50 different customers with our presses in 18 countries around the world. So we can say without a doubt that we know a few things about book production when it comes to publishing. And what we see is that the inkjet and having our presses is really good for both the top and bottom line. It enables publishers and printers to do 2 things very specifically. First, it allows them to save cost on the jobs they're already running. They're able to move their jobs from offset presses to either inkjet or toner. This reduces cost in terms of waste, in terms of inventory, in terms of pulp, in terms of guessing how many copies they have to put into production and what sales figures are going to look like. They don't have to assume such a high print run anymore. They can do it in smaller quantities because they can be delivered faster. And secondly, it allows publishers and printers to react faster to win growing business. We just looked at the Google Trends for the search term on pandemic books. Before March 1st, there really wasn't an interest in reading about pandemic books. But no surprise that when COVID hit, people actually wanted to educate them about the topic. And so it's not just this one thing, but being able to capture trends, being able to capture what's relevant, being able to move content quicker from to meet consumer interest and needs. The way to do this is with inkjet because of those short runs and quantities. And the ability to support new channels like e-commerce through online stores, through web infrastructure. Inkjet is able to promote all these type of things. And so without further ado, I wanted to share with you our new press that we just announced in March. Our very first press of this one came out and has been installed at a customer in the UK, and we're now beginning to install these around the world. So go ahead and take a look at this video for a minute. I'm going to pause there, give a natural pause. So I hope you enjoyed that introductory video about the HP T250 with brilliant ink. We think this is a real game changer for production inkjet in the industry. It's clearly the only press that can really do it all in terms of printing on offset coated or uncoated media. This means that as a publisher, the limitations in terms of what types of papers that you can be run on your inkjet press versus having to do it on offset, that barrier is reduced. And for print service providers, you don't have to specialize your press and to be able to do either coated papers or uncoated papers. So normally that's been a barrier for a long time. Publishers can ask their printers to be able to produce it economically on a single press. Now we have additional presses as well, so our portfolio expands beyond that. We're the only one on the market that offers a extra wide press, which is our T490. It's 1,067 meters across. It's definitely the industry's highest production in terms of capacity, producing over 2,500 A5 mono books an hour. Nothing can really beat it. And that can be printed with uncoated papers as well as offset coated medias using primers, and with the same high quality HDNA 24,000 nozzles per inch. We do have a mono press as well that also it's gangbusters in terms of productivity, one of the best in class. And that complements the video that you just saw, which is the industry standard T250, just announced in March, just installed, first press in September, and you can expect that these presses are going to be installed at printers around the world. Let's make sure we get all those titles in there. HP is the inkjet provider that is trusted by book printers around the world, and it's because we're able to produce offset quality all the way down to being able to print books of one. So we value our partnership. We just here to you on this slide to your left, you can see a number of print service providers that are already trusting us to do their production. We're working with, and they are working with most of the global leading publishers around the world. So if you have some more specific questions, we're happy to answer them. But HP is not just about hardware. We're also about creating solutions there, and that means that we've also moved into the software side. Just 2 years back, we did an acquisition to acquire a workflow partner that's also targeting supporting publishing content management. And so we announced at the London Book Fair in 2018 HP Piazza for Publishing, which is a set of independent and interlocking cloud-based services for publishers. We know that publishers' content is how they make their money, and we know that they need to secure it, they need to monetize it, and they need to control it throughout an optimized supply chain. And Piazza is that solution for that. It allows full automation, scalable and flexible. It allows publishers to control the distribution of their content to different printers around the world through managing titles, through metadata tracking. It enables customization, and of course, track and trace, which we know is a big thing in terms of anti-counterfeit as content moves around the world. We invite you to come and check out our webinar series. During COVID, we launched our Publishing 2020 Vision series. We've currently, at this point, will have completed 5, speaking to some of the industry's most informed voices. And we've done this through a partnership with a number of different partners, whether it be Publishers Perspectives, Book Brunch, Publishers Weekly, the Frankfurt Book Fair, or the International Publishers Association. We have a YouTube channel for those that weren't able to make it. Come check out the replays. And then tune in January 13th to see the Emerging Publishing Superpowers Part 2, which will include a highlight on Indonesia. Of course, if you have additional questions, please reach out to us. You can either reach out to Sun Young, who was previously in this session, myself. Contact information is here on the screen, or to the Indonesia country manager, which is Anna Yusuf. Thank you, everyone. And thank you on behalf of HP.
Dengan informasi terkini, menjadi sumber referensi dan inspirasi di setiap aktivitas. Melalui news video portal, segala informasi dapat disajikan cepat, akurat dan lengkap. Dengan kekuatan teknologi digital, Midcom.id hadir dengan berita pilihan yang dikemas secara menarik. Midcom.id, digitally inspire people.
Sudah 15 menit, masih kejebak macet.
Tenang, daripada emosi, 15 menit Anda jadi lebih berharga kalau bersama saya.
15 Minutes, setiap Rabu, jam 6 sore lewat 45 menit. Mediaindonesia.com hadir dengan opini cerdas dan narasumber kredibel, mudah diakses, informasi berkualitas ada di genggaman Anda. Klik di browser Anda www.mediaindonesia.com dan temukan pandangan berbeda, karena fakta bisa sama, sudut pandang boleh beda. Mediaindonesia.com, Views and News.
Dalam setiap denyut kota, saya selalu menjadi saksinya. Disiarkan lebih dari 20 televisi jaringan Jawa Pos Group. Jawa Pos TV, paling Indonesia. Kebebasan pers dan gelombang era digital menghadirkan ribuan bahkan jutaan informasi dan data setiap harinya. Beragam data dan informasi berserak di berbagai tempat seiring dengan perubahan dunia yang bergerak begitu cepat. Media-media baru pun bermunculan, namun kualitas informasi seolah tak lagi menjadi prioritas. Bahkan tak sedikit yang abai pada etika jurnalisme. Untuk menjawab tantangan itu, Kata Data hadir sejak April 2012 sebagai portal media di bidang ekonomi dan bisnis. Beragam sektor diulas mulai dari finansial, energi, pangan, hingga industri kreatif dan digital. Artikel mendalam dan komprehensif dengan sajian infografik yang menarik menjadi karakter utama dari Kata Data. Kata Data berikhtiar untuk terus menyajikan beragam informasi berkualitas untuk kemajuan negeri dan untuk kepentingan bisnis Anda. Kami percaya demokrasi yang sehat tumbuh dari kehadiran informasi dan data yang akurat.
Kalau bicara pakai data.
Hidup terlalu pendek untuk membiarkan pemikiran-pemikiranmu, ide-idemu terdiam begitu saja. Untuk berubah, kita perlu melangkah. Dan langkah itu lahir dari sebuah inspirasi. Republika, start moving.